All right, good morning, everybody. Interesting reading today. There's been a lot coming up around um, darkness and everybody wanting to focus on the darkness or, search about the darkness and etc. And the reason for that, it's quite normal. We talk about shadow work and doing shadow work, and we want to understand the darkness. That's what we're trying to do when we do that, right? We want to look at our shadow self. We want to look at, all the darkness that exists within us, exists in the world, etc. And we're doing that for a reason, even if we don't know why. So, my mentor once heard something very beautiful. Light is the understanding of the darkness. And we focused on that for years, understanding the darkness to bring the light. And that's what you're doing if you're focused on the darkness right now. But there are two other phrases that came after and came about 3 years ago in preparation for the new way of being, which is unity and love consciousness instead of separation and darkness consciousness. So fear consciousness. So the second phrase that came was unity is the forgiveness of the darkness. Okay, so light is the understanding of the darkness. Unity is the forgiveness of the darkness. The third phrase is joy is the acceptance of the darkness. But we're not going to go there today. Today, we're going to unity is the forgiveness of the darkness. And this is about forgiving the darkness. So I've already drawn 3 cards from the Dark Mirror deck. And this is what we're going to do today. So you're going to pick your pile and card group, whatever we want to call it, and we're going to explore what darkness we've been trying to understand and now want to forgive. Okay, here we go. All right. If you haven't picked your pile yet, please pause the video and do so. But we are going to get started with group number 1. So, group number 1. What darkness have you been trying to understand, and what darkness are you wanting to forgive now? Oh, sacrifice. Look at that. Sacrifice. Number 7. I'm going to read from the book and then we'll go from there. I heard start with the book, so we're going to start with the book. Sacrifice. Oh, so the phrase that goes with this book is, even if I have to break apart, as long as it serves a purpose. It says, a beautiful female knight wears heavy armor. She holds a blade in front of her, and a blade of light slices across her face, showing the deadly seriousness of her stare, the mirror of her resolve. Okay, there is a strong power in sacrifice. Our fears, our hopes, they are all chains to a small world. Our sense of self is a small, petty creature of uncertain resolve and shaky horizons. With sacrifice, we renounce our sense of self. We accept to be lost. We accept to be shaken and cut and bruised and hurt and burdened and locked and stricken and despised and gossiped and betrayed and misunderstood, and to be left alone, to rot, to die, with just words of thanks while the world goes on over our broken dreams. But when we drown our sense of self to sacrifice, we are also a greater person. We are screaming, I exist. I make the difference. We accepted a price to pay, and we used our blood and tears as currency. That gives us the right to stand tall. It says, I have accepted my duty, and in my release, I found freedom. Okay, whoa, a lot in there. Really bringing up throat chakra for me. There's a lot there. Sacrifice. It's so heavy. It is very dark. It's very sad, very sorrowful. Sacrificing the self. Okay, self-sacrifice. That is what we're trying to understand. We've been trying to understand. And we want to forgive today. Okay. I'm here to use these cards, the Luna Soleil cards, which represent unity to me. Okay. All right, they want me to cut them. This is a strong energy. Ah, the Lovers, but reversed, and they said keep it reversed. Okay, so the Four of Swords. And the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Okay. All right. What are these cards saying together? The Lovers reversed. Self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice, you know, all of those things it said in the card. It leads to all of those things that it says in the card, which is like the loss of love, right? The love of the self. Ah, yes, the love of the self. Okay, the ego serves a purpose. I'm hearing. The ego does love you. Even though, you know, we talk about letting go of the ego and etc. It's the ego loves you. The ego wants to protect you. It does it by creating fear and all these things. The ego tries to protect you from self-sacrifice. It tries to protect you from suffering, from pain. But it lives in fear, and that's why we want to let it go. So the ego does have a purpose, okay? So that's part of the understanding of the darkness, understanding why we go into that place of fear. So the ego does love you, okay? But the ego sacrifices love and chooses fear to protect us. That's what I'm hearing with this card, okay? So that's what they want us to understand. So that's the self-sacrifice. We sacrifice the loving self in order to protect ourselves. To let the ego and, you know, create the fear to protect us. The Four of Swords. Okay, the Four of Swords. In my other deck, it's also the Death card. But the fours are about stability, foundation. And swords are about mental, you know, the mental foundation of things. And the Four of Swords follows the Three of Swords, which is where you look at your grief, your sorrow, all that darkness, and you understand it and you're ready to move forward. So the Death card is the transformation. So what this is telling me is that you've understood this, okay? You have understood it, and you're ready to move forward now. You know, the light is the understanding of the darkness. So now the forgiveness, unity, you're moving forward into unity, which is the forgiveness of the darkness. So forgiveness of the ego, forgiveness of the fear, forgiveness of the self-sacrifice that you've lived, okay? But this is interesting. This card is turned, it's reversed. So usually, you know, if it was upright, I'd say, you know, this is about finding your happiness through spirituality. It's the King of Pentacles. It's about, you know, being very, very successful in the material world, etc., okay? But through spirituality. But it's reversed, and they want me to leave it reversed. So what is it saying in reverse? Because we're transforming, okay, the unity is the forgiveness of the darkness. So this card has something to do with the forgiveness of the darkness. This was the understanding of it. the darkness. This is the forgiveness of it. Okay. This card to me right now is saying forgive the self that you were sacrificing. Okay. Forgive the self that you were sacrificing. So here, we sacrifice the self, the physical self, the self that desires, material success, material wealth, material whatever, that isn't focused on happiness through spirituality, but that is focused on happiness through material world stuff. That's the self we've been sacrificing, and they want you to forgive that self, okay? Forgive the self that's fearful. Forgive the self that's full of material desire. Forgive that self, okay? Forgive it. You've seen that self as the darkness in you, but it's not. Because you've understood it, so you've brought the light to it. Light is the understanding of the darkness. So you no longer need to see it as the darkness within you, okay? It's time to forgive it. Bring the two sides of the coin together. That's the unity. The spiritual self and the physical self, they are two sides of the same coin. They come together. You can't have one without the other. You have to have the whole coin. So don't make this self that's physical, that's focused on the physical and material world, and being happy in the physical and material world by fulfilling the material desires of yourself. Don't make it wrong. Don't make it the darkness. It was you. You now understand it. It's time to forgive it. Bring it back into unity so that your spiritual self and your physical self can be one. Okay? And then you can experience the joy of acceptance of the darkness, the joy of acceptance of the physical self. Okay? So, yeah. No more self-sacrificing. Okay? No more sacrificing the physical self, the material self, in order to be the spiritual self. You want to bring those together. That's your message today. I hope you have a beautiful day. My group number 1. All right, group number 2. What darkness are we looking at today? Oh, hiding your true self. So this is the darkness that you've been trying to understand, why you've hidden your true self, and you're ready to forgive today. The hiding of your true self. Okay. And I'm going to start with the book, and then we're going to go from there. Okay. Hiding is keeping things inside. Lack of trust becomes lack of hope. So there must be a limit. In the dazzling light, there is a hint of a door, like the door to a Hammam. Outside, draped in scarlet tunics, stand 2 women, one under the sign of the sun and the other beneath the sign of the moon. You could be in front of the mirror, or you could hide behind the mirror, yet you choose to be the mirror. Hiding is a survival instinct. Do you want to be honest and truly be yourself? Very few people will accept you then. You are too complicated to be comfortable, too contradictory to be easy, too exceptional to be believed, too plain to be considered. You can be the sun, you can be the moon, you can be the door, you can be the road, you can be the butterfly and the brick. Maybe the question is not if, but when. Sometimes real solitude is when there is not a right moment to be yourself, and not the right person, and neither the right way. Being yourself is like a moment at the spa. It is a massage for the soul, a purification process that brings in oxygen and turns away age and wear. It is bliss and pleasure. All right. let's see what these cards are going to say about this. So the darkness has been hiding yourself, okay? So you've come to understand why you've hidden yourself. That's what I'm hearing. And now you're ready to forgive the hiding of your true self. First card that came up is the Two of Wands. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, the second card is the Five of Swords. Okay. And then the third card is the Three of Cups. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to read these cards together. Okay, so this card tells me, the two is duality, polarity. And Wands is of will. It's about the will. So very much like this card shows, there's been a duality within you, right? Which will would you follow? Which path will you follow? There's a choice here. In order to move forward, in order to move forward, you have to choose. Choose, are you going to show your true self or not? Right? And that's what you've been exploring. That's what you've been trying to understand. Okay, this is the challenge that you've been trying to overcome, because the Five of Swords is overcoming challenge. This is the challenge you've been trying to overcome. This duality within you. Right? You can easily hide yourself, your true self, or be your true self. But which do you do? That's been the conflict. Okay? That's been the challenge. Understanding it. Okay? To understand why you hide your true self. And as this card says, it's a survival instinct. Right? So you can fit in. So you can feel like you belong. Like you blend in with the others. All right? But that's not the true you. The true you is unique. The true you is very much your unique voice, your unique being, your unique vibration. Your uniqueness is the true you. We all have a verse to play in the multiverse, okay? We all have a chord to play in the harmony of the universe and the multiverse. And it's interesting because we're trying to blend in. We're trying to be in that harmony too. Also represents that balance and harmony. We try to blend in and be, but we try to hide our true self in order to blend in and fit into the harmony of those around us. But we come to the realization eventually that our unique individual chord is what needs to be expressed, played, heard, voiced in order for us to be part of that larger harmony, okay? So when you realize that, you can forgive yourself for hiding your true self, okay? Forgive it. Light is the understanding of the darkness. Unity is the forgiveness of the darkness. And then look at this card. This is unity. 3, unity. 3 of Cups. This is all about joy, okay? And love and spending time, spontaneous gatherings with loved ones, spontaneous celebrations with loved ones. This is about belonging, okay? This is about belonging with your loved ones. Your loved ones who love you. When you love yourself, the true you, the people who will reflect that, the people around you will reflect that, and they're going to love the true you. And you can relax and be at ease and spend time with these people, and you're going to attract these people. This is your tribe. People like to call it that. This is your people, okay? You will spend more and more time with the people who connect to the true you, okay? Instead of trying to fit into the people who don't, all right? So, yeah, the darkness within you, that you've been trying to understand is hiding your true self. So you did it to try to fit in. It was a survival instinct. It's natural. But now it's time to, you've understood that. The light has been shone on it. And now it's time to forgive it and move into that place of unity. Okay? And that place where you're comfortable and you attract those who you're comfortable being you with. All right, that is your reading. I hope you have a lovely day. And I'm going to move on to my third group. What is the darkness you've been trying to understand and forgive? Naked before the stars. Okay, let's look at what that says in the book. We're starting with the book and then we'll go from there. Oh, yeah. Accepting our own beauty in size, color, age, and fat. She's not fat, by the way. Just so you know. She's beautiful and curvaceous. So a beautiful, curvy woman wears lacy lingerie. One is a black corset, and she kneels in her full sensuality under the lights of a million artificial stars. There is no perfection that is worth enough. There is imperfection as proud as the heavens. What do we see when we look in a mirror? Do we see something we like or something we dislike? Something we care or something we are a slave of? What do we compare ourselves to? To the stars of a media firmament leaking into our own real life? To the social models? To the beauty queens and kings of the eternal pageant? To our inner self? To the idea we had when we were younger? To the eyes of the people loving us? What do we compare ourselves to? I wonder what feelings the words curvy, cute, chubby, fat, rounded arouse within us. If a smile or distaste or recognition. The quest for beauty is not an empty quest. Even if beauty is not as deep as the ocean, still when we shine, our world becomes brighter. But we will always feel naked in front of the stars. We should just learn not to blush and to stand proudly. Okay, so my group 2244, I just saw that. Okay, so look that up. So this group, the darkness in you that you've been trying to understand and you're ready to forgive is comparing yourselves to ideals, okay? Comparing yourselves to ideals, not seeing the perfection within your imperfection, okay? Look at that, okay? We're just going to shuffle these cards. We're going to get 3 and then we're going to read. So, yeah. Being focused on physical beauty versus spiritual beauty, I hear, is what you've been struggling with. Vanity is the word that's coming. You know? Okay. Interesting. All right. So, these 2 cards are about the understanding. So light is the understanding of the darkness. And then this card is about the forgiveness. Unity is the forgiveness of the darkness. So we're starting with these 2 cards. We have the Queen of Cups and the Fool. Okay? So the Queen of Cups is the divine mothering energy, the unconditional love. Okay? And the Fool is the fearless, naive, in a good way, innocent being. Okay? So I think, okay, being naked before the stars and, seeing all of our imperfections and focusing on our imperfections and wanting to be perfect on the outside, right? Wanting to appear perfect, wanting to be that ideal beauty on the outside. The struggle that you've had with that and the reason you've gone there is to come to this place of unconditionally loving yourself and remembering the innocence of you, okay? So you know, coming to the place of unconditionally loving yourself and all of your imperfections, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, social, and not being afraid of them, okay? Not being afraid of them, because this is the fearlessness. In fact, being oblivious to them at times is good too. Being innocent, right? A baby doesn't know if it's perfect or not, but they are. I mean, we see them as perfect usually. A baby hasn't, but you know, even if a baby has an imperfection when it's born, it doesn't know that. It's innocent. It's not afraid of its imperfection. It's innocent. The baby loves itself unconditionally, and we love the baby unconditionally. So the challenge for you has been to get to that place, okay? To allow and understand that your imperfections are there in order to help you come to this place of being unconditionally loving of yourself, fearless, okay, and innocent, okay? And then, so that's the understanding, the light, that is the understanding of the darkness. This card is about the unity, is the forgiveness of the darkness. So this card is about going within, the Hierophant card, going within so that you can shine what's within you outside. And this, what this card says, it said it here, let me go back. It says, the quest for beauty is not an empty quest. Even if the beauty is not as deep as the ocean, still when we shine, our world becomes brighter. Okay? So what this says to me when I heard that is, yeah, you know, if you shine your beauty from within, and it'll shine on the outside. So it's interesting because sometimes in the past, you know, people have asked me about how to transform their outward appearance, and you know, when they struggle with that. And my advice to them is always do what you love. You know, find the one thing a day, at least, that makes you feel beautiful, right? Even if you don't see your beauty, you can feel it, right? So if you're struggling with seeing it in the mirror, focus on what makes you feel beautiful. So it might be having a bath. It might be dancing. It might be, you know, I don't know, what makes you feel beautiful. I'm trying to think, you know, wearing a beautiful piece of clothing that you love. Okay. Whatever it is that makes you feel beautiful, do that. Because the more you feel beautiful, the more your beauty will shine. So you need to connect, go within and connect with the beauty within. What makes you feel beautiful, okay? And let that shine, okay? So that's what they want to say to you, okay? Forgive your vanity, okay? You've understood it, what it was about. Now forgive it, okay? Forgive your focus on the outward presentation of yourself. Forgive your habit, I hear, of comparing yourself to ideals. Okay, forgive it. Now, you've understood what it was for. It was to bring you to a place of loving yourself unconditionally, being fearless, being innocent, okay? And reminding yourself of your innocence. And now it's time to forgive it, okay? So that your inner beauty can shine through your being into the outer world, all right? It's okay. It's okay to want to be beautiful. It's allowed. That's your message for today. I hope you guys resonate with that, and go have a beautiful day now. Bye-bye.